We used to live in a house with my uncle's family and my grandparents. So there was 6 of us as in siblings in the house. I have 2 brothers, and I also have a cousin brother and 2 cousin sisters. I'm the oldest, and Raj, my brother, was 2 years younger than me. So we grew up quite close, you know, we were really like best friends. Bizarrely, because it was my brother, but we were really, really close, and we did a lot of things together. And it was when I was 19 when it happened, and he was 17. So even though it felt like we had a lot of time together, it kind of feels like we never did really, because a lot of it was spent, I guess, away as well, you know, studying or whatever, and then but it's the memories of the childhood, I think, that are always there, and what we used to do as the 6 of us, but then also just me and Raj, how we used to play up mum. So it was my first year of uni, so I'd gone off to Sheffield, and Raj was at the college I used to go to, and I still had friends. One of my best friends, Nindi, she was still at the college. And while I was at uni, I was trying to get hold of him, and he always took my calls, or he was called, and I couldn't get hold of him. I don't even actually remember if I had any. I had a pager in those days, and it was in the mobile. So I couldn't get hold of him, and I couldn't know why. So I was even sending messages to my friend saying, you know, where is he? Can't get hold of him today. And she was like, not sure. But then she saw him, and she even said to him, Ezzy's trying to get hold of you today. And he said, yeah, I'll call her. And he never did that day. And he was basically picked up, not far from the college, by a friend's friend that we all knew in the community. So I knew him. I was actually, still are, really good friends with his cousin, the driver this is. He got into the car. There was 5 of them in the car. So him and his best friend got into the car. He was on the way to work because he used to do a part-time job, and they stopped and said, we'll give you a lift, it's not far. So he got in the car. He was actually going to get on the bus, and literally I think 5 minutes from the college is when the car just, he was speeding, he was under the influence, but no one knew that before they got in the car. And he hit a curb, and it actually landed on its side, wedged between a lamppost and a house kind of wall thing, and a tree. So my brother died on impact. His best friend ended up being rushed to hospital, but he had a brain hemorrhage, so he died in hospital. The driver was fine, and the other 2, one of the other guys actually had a lot of damaging facial injuries, which is better now, but you know, it took a long time to get over. And then there was another a boy in the car. I think he had some back injuries, but he was fine as well. But unfortunately, yeah, my brother and his friend Manny lost their lives. It was actually one of my ex-boyfriends at the time who called me, or got hold of me, and couldn't get the words out. I just knew something had happened. Didn't tell me that my brother had passed away, but told me Manny had, and that Raj was in the car. And he couldn't get the words out, so I had to find someone who I could talk to. So I'm ringing around. No one told me that he'd passed away. It was in the afternoon. When it actually happened, it was around 3 or 3:30. I can't remember the time now. And I was told that he was in hospital. And I had the girl that I was staying with at the time in university, in the halls, my parents and my uncles had got hold of her parents and told her what had happened, and they came to get me from Sheffield in the car, which was like the longest journey of my life, because it was just quiet. No one would say a word, and I kept thinking, why have these people come to get, why have they come to get me? Why haven't my family come to get me? But okay, they're at the hospital, obviously, they can't. So it was confusing. My head was all over the place. Then when we got outside, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
So
Yeah.
we have this thing, it's kind of a, I don't know, part of the tradition, culture, I'm not sure, where when someone passes, your front door's open. So we parked up and the door was open. And I was like, okay. And that was it. I just knew. I didn't need anyone to tell me. I walked in and yeah, my family were in bits. And I just went into kind of like hyperventilating mode. I went out into the garden, just, couldn't breathe, couldn't do anything, collapsed to the floor, and my aunt was picking me up, plus my neighbour, the granny next door, she was there. I don't really remember much of it because I think it was just a complete haze. And then obviously we found out Manny was passed as well, so they've both passed. And then we just went through the motions of realising what's just happened. But kind of straight away went into strong mode. Instead of going into grief and really feeling what I should have been feeling, I started feeling I need to be strong. I need to be strong for my parents. I need to be strong for my siblings. I need to get things sorted. And I went into this weird, let's get on with it and sort it out now type of thing. And I realised that now. I didn't realise that at the time. At the time I was just getting on. And I think it's life, it's happened. I was angry. I hated that driver. I knew the family. It was, I wanted revenge. It was all over the place. But you come away from that after a long time, after a very long time. My gran helped me forgive him, but unfortunately she couldn't handle the pain of losing her grandson, and then we lost her 2 months after because she got ill. So it was like a roller coaster for a whole year. And then I got ill. I had a skin condition triggered in me. So it happened in December. We lost my gran in February, and I got a skin condition triggered in July due to the trauma. So it was a whole year of traumatic events which just kept going on. And throughout it, there was nothing. I didn't have anyone to talk to, any professional body I could go to and feel comfortable. I tried to take my mother to counselling and it was awful. I know I walked in there thinking, I don't want to be here. Why am I making my mom sit here? It was cold and just not welcoming at all. And she said, she did a couple and then she was like, I can't do this. I can't talk to them. And I was like, okay, I get it. But I never thought about it for myself at all. I didn't know who I could go to really, or who I could even speak to, even if it was on the phone.